Hello, my name is RatchetAndClankAlot, and welcome to the Ratchet and Clank FMP Episode 3. Now, today we've got some big Ratchet and Clank news. You could say it puts the Ratchet and Clank back into the Ratchet and Clank FMP, but it's really big news, so we'll get onto that in a minute. And considering that Episode 1 to Episode 2 was about 3 months, now that we've done Episode 3 about a week after Episode 2, it's a bit of a difference, but like I said, I'm going to try and keep on top of these now, so that's why there's one so soon after. And also the fact that there's some big Ratchet and Clank news is definitely why I'm doing this right now. So here we go then. Let's get into it. Let's talk about some relatively small Ratchet and Clank news compared to the other topic which you're going to get onto. But the Ratchet and Clank Trilogy. So Ratchet Galaxy has posted some gameplay of the trilogy on their YouTube channel, I believe it is. And this is actually quite good because remember last week, or last episode I should say, I said you can actually go to watch the Japanese trailer to watch the gameplay to see what it looks like. However, that had loads of text coming on the screen. You can still see it, but it had text coming on the screen. But with this is actually proper gameplay video, so you can actually see more. So you can easily see what it looks like in this new HD trilogy. Okay then, right then. Also, a trophy list was released for the Ratchet and Clank trilogy. Now, I haven't played many of the HD collections, like Sly Cooper and all of the Jak and Daxter. I do plan to, definitely those ones I just highlighted. But if, from my recollection, I believe that's a word, not many of them, they didn't have many trophies. I don't think some of them, maybe some of the early ones, didn't have any platinum trophies. However, with Ratchet and Clank, you have all 4 types of trophies. You have the bronze, you have the silver, and you have the gold. But also, for each game, you have a platinum trophy, which is very, very nice. And in fact, there's actually quite a few trophies as well. I mean, off the top of my head, I think there's the same amount of trophies in each, not just all of them together, in each Ratchet and Clank game in the HD trilogy. I think there's the same amount of trophies as there are in some of the PS3 Ratchet and Clanks, like Ratchet and Clank Rocking Time and Ratchet and Clank All for One. And there's in Ratchet and Clank 1 there is 35 trophies, Ratchet and Clank 2 35 trophies, and in Ratchet and Clank 3 there's only 33. You thought I was going to say 35, but yes, there's loads of trophies to get, and some of these are pretty much all are pretty story based, or if you plan to get everything in Ratchet and Clank, they're pretty much the same that it used to be, like obtain the Rhino, you get one for that. Obviously, some of the skill points are there, the gold bolts are there, getting all the skill points are there. They're all there, they're to be expected, that's what I thought. However, there is one which, at first glance, doesn't look to be too much of a problem. Now, where is it? There it is. Right, so, this trophy, is to collect 1 million bolts in Ratchet and Clank. Now, obviously for a future Ratchet and Clank title, that doesn't seem much of a problem, because it's pretty simple. It does take time, but it's pretty simple to get 1 million bolts. But then you think about it, Ratchet and Clank 1, the game where the Rhino was 150,000 to get a Rhino in Ratchet and Clank 1, so 1 million bolts is actually quite a lot of money in Ratchet and Clank 1. So, but I'm trying to work out how many Rhinos could you buy with 1 million bolts. Just trying to put it into perspective. So you got 150. So 2 is 3. So 2, 4. You could buy. Hold on. You could buy 6.5. Well, nearly half, but a bit over half. You could buy 6.5 Rhinos for 1 million bolts. That just puts it into perspective. That's a lot of money. But anyway, right, now, this is the reason why I did this episode 3 so soon after episode 2. Insomniac Games, they have announced one of their surprises for the 10-year anniversary special. Of course, when Ratchet and Clank HD Trilogy was announced, they said that they will be a special surprise for the wait for North America, obviously, because Europe gets it first, North America has to wait a little bit longer. However, they have released one of these. I do say one, I'll get more on that in a minute, but they have released one of these surprises, and that is the announcement of a proper Ratchet and Clank game. It's not going to be one of those like a picture or like a poster which I was expecting. They are actually releasing a proper Ratchet and Clank game. Now when I say proper, I'll get onto it in a minute. Just stay with me, and you will hear what I need to say in a minute. Yes, but Ratchet and Clank Full Frontal Assault is what it is called. Now, I'm going to get more onto the information in a minute. I'm going to read the official description just to get that out of the way then. Right then. Ratchet and Clank Full Frontal Assault delivers a concentrated blast of pure fun to the PlayStation 3. Available exclusively on the PlayStation Store in North America, and there's a little star there, but we'll get to that in a minute. Full Frontal Assault blends the series' classic comedy, camera, and controls with an innovative new way to play. Drop into the middle of an intergalactic conflict, choose your weapons, and experience Full Frontal Assault solo or together with friends online or split screen. Full Frontal Assault is the key piece of Insomniac is the key piece of Insomniac and Sony Computer Entertainment's celebration for the 10th anniversary of Ratchet and Clank. So, right then, I'm going to highlight a few points out of that description there. Now, we'll obviously talk more about the details in it in a minute, but it says camera controls return. Well, no, that's not what it says. That's what I read. But it says about the classic comedy and camera controls. So that means that Ratchet and Clank, obviously in Ratchet and Clank All for One, it was like a director's style camera, so you could see all the players at once. But in this game, it's going to be back to like the third-person shooter, where you're just focusing on your player, which is quite good because obviously a lot of fans were hoping that would happen, and of course now it has. But this came out of no. I felt this came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting to hear from a Ratchet and Clank game for another few years or so, and then we get one now. It's so cool. It's a very big year for Ratchet and Clank. I don't even know if it is the 10th year, but it's a very big year. Right then, also want to point out you can also play. This is an online game. It's also I don't know if I say this. I should say this now to get it out of the way. But the game is actually a short game. It's not like a full-length title like A Crack in Time or All for One. This is a shorter title, more like Quest for Booty. It sounds weird when I say booty. Booty! Say it like a pirate. There we go. It's about the same size as that game, Quest for Booty. Let's get back onto where I was then. So this is online. You can play solo, which is what I wanted to highlight. You can play solo, so you don't have to play online. Similar to All for One. All together with friends or online or split co-op, obviously what it says. Split co-op, split screen, sorry. So you can play the game on your own, or you can play online, or I'm assuming that split screen means you can play it offline co-op, so you can play with somebody who's with you, sitting next to you. I assume that's what that means, so that's quite good. It also says there's a whole new way to play, so it's quite interesting. I want to try and find out what that is. It sounds rather menacing and interesting. I want to find out. So this is basically going to be like a shorter online game, and they are working their best to have as many trophies as possible, because now games, they are required to have trophies, so they are, of course, will be trophies, I assume. But somebody said, will there be a platinum? James Stevenson, the community manager at Sony Games, he said that he wasn't sure about the size of the game, because I think the game has to be a certain size if it can have a platinum or not. I think they're not sure about that, but they know they've said they will be trying to get as many trophies as they possibly can. And as I said, in the story-wise, it is post All for One, which means it is after All for One, but it is not something like the Future Saga. It's a standalone story. Now, I assume it's canon. I haven't actually asked this question yet. I should have done it earlier, I suppose. But I believe this is canon. This is obviously, it says it after All for One, but it's not like in a big trilogy like Tools of Destruction, Quest for Booty, and A Crack in Time was. This is going to be a little adventure which is set sometime after All for One. I assume that's what it means. And as I said, it's similar to Quest for Booty in length, but more replayability than A Crack in Time. Now, I do believe it's more replayability than any Ratchet and Clank game, but they only said A Crack in Time, so I'm just going to say A Crack in Time. And the replayability is in the form of multiplayer. James Stevenson said that in some of the comments as well on the PlayStation blog. Okay, then what else are we doing? So something else that was in the title in the description that I wanted to point out. You can drop into the middle of an intergalactic conflict. Now, obviously, at the moment, none of us know what this is about. Well, obviously, Sonic games do, but that's beyond the point. We don't know what this game is going to be like. We don't know what the story is going to be like, or we don't know how it's going to be set in the story. But from that, drop into the middle of an intergalactic conflict. And this game, have I said this yet? I haven't. Actually, this is the next thing I'm going to say. In Europe, this game is coming out in Europe as well, not just North America, in Europe as well. In Europe, though, it's called Q-Force, because obviously when they change over to Europe, they usually change the name. I'll get to why they did that in a minute. But Q-Force is what it's called in Europe. So I actually prefer Q-Force, so it's a good job I live in Europe, so I can get the Q-Force, because I don't know why. I think it's because it's shorter and not full frontal assault, but I quite like the Q-Force. It's more Ratchet and Clank related as well, but there we go. So it says you can drop into the middle of an intergalactic conflict. So theory crafting here. I think maybe Ratchet and Clank Full Frontal Assault will basically be, like in the story-wise, Quark will be involved, and he will be Captain Quark, sorry. And maybe he sort of set up this sort of initiative called, obviously, the Q-Force. They've sort of reintroduced it into the galaxy, and it's basically like a team of, I don't know, superheroes who obviously save the world from intergalactic battles. Obviously, I think that's probably, maybe that might be how it works. That's obviously not how it is, that's what I think it might be. But it might be similar to something like that, since it is called Q-Force. And of course, it is called Q-Force in Europe for a reason, James Stevenson said, and that was that will Quark be in Ratchet and Clank? And I believe TJ Fixman also made a comment about it, saying that Quark will definitely be in Ratchet and Clank. He didn't actually say that. He said that a Ratchet and Clank game without Captain Quark would not be a true Ratchet and Clank game. So I think that's what. So I think Captain Quark will definitely be in the game, since it's called Q-Force, and TJ Fixman and James Stevenson have said it will be, basically. And I think the reason they also called it Q-Force is because I'm not sure if this is official, but it's because it's easier to translate than full frontal assault. So obviously you've got loads of different languages to translate it into. So I'm guessing. So from what I've heard, they did it into Q-Force because obviously in some countries full frontal assault obviously might not translate as good as Q-Force would. I think that's right. Right then. So then, on the PlayStation Store, it's going to be on the PlayStation Store in North America, and in Europe, it's going to be available on the PlayStation Store, and it's going to be available on disc, but only in Europe. In North America, it's PlayStation Store only. Right then, it should be releasing the same time for Europe and North America. I do believe it's coming out the same time as the HD collection in America. So people in Europe can get the HD collection, but then they will have to wait for the Full Frontal Assault, or Q-Force, as well. They have to wait for that one. And also, this is what I was sort of hinted about earlier. There is a big surprise special planned for the Ratchet and Clank HD collection, which Insomniac Games have teased us about. Now, they do make sure that you know that this is the big surprise that they were sitting on. However, there is still another surprise as well, but it's a smaller surprise. James Stevenson calls it a make good for the wait for the trilogy in North America. So there is something else coming as well, but it's not going to be as big as a new game. Yes, and also I did read a comment, and I'm not sure if it's the way I read this comment, but James Stevenson said that I can't remember exactly what he said. I haven't got a direct quote, but from what I gathered from what he said that it will be that this extra special surprise that people have to wait for North America because they have to wait. I believe he did say that it's available. That is available for everyone in Europe as well. But I always thought it was just for North America. But I'm not sure. I'm just the way I interpreted his comment. But obviously we'll have to wait and find out more about that, because of course that will happen eventually. Right then. So also James Stevenson was asked about the Ratchet and Clank Deadlocked HD. If you remember last episode, I said that it obviously was announced in Japan, and I said, was this the surprise? So since Insomniac Games have actually no. Well, this is what James Stevenson's reply was for when he was asked. He said, in quotes, whistles and walks away. So that's rather secretive of you, James Stevenson. Does that mean that Ratchet Deadlocked HD is coming? Or does it mean that he's just playing as he usually does and just teasing us with it? But maybe we'll have to find out if this is the other surprise as well, although I doubt it. Although maybe it could be, because I suppose a new game is bigger than a remake of an old game. Maybe. We'll find out. I'm sure we will. Right then, so I'm going to end this Ratchet and Clank Full Frontal Assault question. No. I forget what it's called. Topic. That's it. By reading off a quote from the CEO of Insomniac Games, Ted Price. So he says, Ratchet and Clank Full Frontal Assault is a fun-sized Ratchet adventure, which will be available for download exclusively on the PlayStation Store. Return to the series' classic feel, camera, controls, and weapons, while innovating and giving you a whole new way to play. Even better, the addition of online features means you can experience Full Frontal Assault with your friends. Okay, then there we go. Then so you can see that it just clarifies what we just said. It's available on PlayStation Store. It's got online features, and it returns to the classic feel with the camera, controls, and weapons. Although it does say classic weapons, although there is a picture, and you can see it does have the Warmonger, which was from All for One, and I assume that's not what he meant by classic. So maybe there'll be some older weapons introduced as well. Maybe there'll be a combination of all of the weapons from each game. That will be quite interesting to see. But anyway, yes. So then, that's Ratchet and Clank Full Frontal Assault or Ratchet and Clank Q-Force done. Let's talk about. There's just a few other things to talk about.